people, it's Chris with Pro Photo, and this is Geared Up. It's our weekly live broadcast where we talk about gear, we talk about lighting techniques, we do breakdowns, we have fun, we take your questions, and try to make some cool images. Today, it's dark in here. We're a little spooky today. We're going to be using gels, light modifiers, and gobos to create a Halloween-inspired image. We'll dive into it here in a second, but the idea behind it is to kind of make this like serpenty feeling shot, something a little elegant, but still kind of creepy feeling. We're gonna do that with a lot of gels, some modifiers. We're gonna have some fun. So you hear the word gobo. I said we're gonna be using gels. Most people know what gels are. A lot of people don't know what gobos are. A gobo is just short for go-between. It's something that you put in between your light to achieve an effect on your subject. You see people use them all the time, whether it be like a palm frond or something like that. Maybe there's a cocktail mixed up on a table and you want like the shadow of a palm tree. That's a go-between. So essentially you're just putting something in between your light and your subject to broadcast a pattern. I will be using today this. I think I've showed this before in the past, but actually I'm not even gonna pull this whole thing. I'll just show you the little tiny one. So you can go to your home improvement stores and you can get these cool little metal grates. You see it up there, but here, it's even closer. There we go. You get these cool metal grates with different patterns on them. They're relatively inexpensive and they're pretty fun to play with. So again, at your hardware store. We were playing with some of these in the past before. I still haven't done it, but someone was saying, hey, like, we were getting some funky reflections, and we might get some today, who knows? But you can paint them black, which is nice. It's great. You just get like some black spray paint these things black to make sure you're not getting any weird reflections. I just haven't done that just yet, but it was a great tip from a viewer once. So again, I'm not gonna talk too much about, what these things are, because I think for the most part they're relatively self-explanatory. Told you what a gobo was. You know what softbox are, grids and gels. We're gonna talk about the techniques and how we're lighting all this stuff, but essentially what we're gonna do is we're gonna stay kind of with those kind of serpenty colors, yellows, blues, greens, and we're gonna mix them up and try to make a really cool image. So with that being said, we'll do it one by one. So here, let me take a random image just to kind of blank everything out for everyone as it flips over to our screen. Cool. So cool, that's us down there in the corner. Hi there. And you have Capture One up. So let's bring Kate in and let's start building an image. There's going to be there's definitely a lot that you probably can't see because it's behind the camera over there, but there's a and we're going to start by turning this one on first. That's why I'm pointing to it. You can slightly see it here. It's a A2 with a Click 2.7 softbox. Inside of it has a blue gel. We're using that for the feeling, a little bit of a feeling of kind of like a night moonlight feel. It's going to be a little separation from the background, but also the blue kind of ties into that kind of serpenty looking feel. You ready, Kate?
Yeah.
And then we'll wind up bringing in the gobo very last so you guys can get an understanding of how we're using it and why it does what it does. All right. So let's have you know what we didn't do? We didn't mark your spot. So let's, so come forward just a hair. There we go. Perfect. We're gonna take the shot and then I'm gonna grab some gaff real fast and make it.
Serpent hand?
Yeah, do your thing. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. So don't move. I'm gonna just give you some gaff tape real fast. We should have marked this earlier. But so with that shot right there, you can see that we have this nice kind of like, wow, just chucking stuff over. We have this nice like kind of night feel to it. It feels like almost like a little bit of moonlight, but then again, it's got some of that shimmery silveriness that kind of feels a little serpenty. So but what's nice is it's going to give us some of that separation from the background because we're working with a lot of heavy blacks, and it would be real easy to actually get lost in that. So we're going to give Kate some marks real fast so she knows where to
awesome
drop.
Stuff.
So let's start bringing in some other lights. So I have a gridded strip box right here off to the side. That's this one here. It's a 1x4. It's the new pop open softbox, really nice. Inside of it is an OCF 2 gel holder with a green gel inside of it. Again, we're playing with those greens, those yellows and stuff like that. But I have it downwards. I know we talked here. Let's pull this forward so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So I've talked about in the past how whenever I'm shooting with a softbox on a subject, I like for the light itself to be nose line or above, eye line or above, because it uplights, and uplights can kind of feel like a little bit of a horror scene. That sounds like a great thing for a Halloween-inspired shot or a horror-inspired shot. So we actually have this light lowered all the way down and actually kicked back up, so it's doing even more uplighting, but really kind of focusing that light in. And again, with the green gel. So let's get you back in spot, Kate, and we'll bring in this light.
I'll leave that like that.
Cool. And so now we'll bring in light in B. Power that on. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. So now we have a little bit of green coming into the scene. It's not a ton, but it's starting to, it brings up some light on Kate. And granted, we are battling just a hair with the video lights today. And what I may do for the final shot is turn those off just so we can get just clean light. That's why you can see more of her face than you should be able to. I'm even at F11. These things are just powerful today. So we'll turn those off here in just a minute for a final shot, but just so you can kind of see what's going on. So there we have this nice little green. You know, I think I actually might bump it up about, let's just see what happens if I pull it up a stop. 3, 2, 1. I like that. Actually coming up that stop's nice. So one of the things that you have to, remember with gels, I think I just hid myself behind a softbox. I did. I'm gonna come over here. So one of the things you have to remember with gels is the more power you push through them, the more pastel they become, the less of that color effect that you're getting out of the gel by jamming more light through them. So we're working at lower powers. Sorry. That's cool. It's kind of like a weird side face. Okay, but we're working at lower powers so that we can saturate the colors a lot more. So again, if you pull the power back, underexpose a little bit, you can really saturate those colors. If you want to kind of wash those colors out a little bit, power up a little bit harder. So that's why everything's still kind of, it's real low key lighting because we're trying to really saturate those colors. So let's bring in another green. So just to kind of start rounding out the image, I'm going to bring in some more light from below. So if you can see here, this is another A2 with a 2.3 octa. So that's the 2.7 octa that's with the blue in the background, giving that nice cast.
Yeah, it's
this,
pretty dark in here, but I think that they can see.
Is it? Oh, gotcha. Yeah, actually, it is a lot of black. So, but right here is the 2.3 click octa on an A2 with another green gel inside of it. So that's got a jade green, that's got a jade green inside of it, so they should match nicely. So let's bring Kate back in here. And I'm probably gonna tweak it a little bit, but let's just see kind of where we are right now with kind of where we have it set. So cool. 3, 2, 1. So that's cool. I like it. I might pull it back a hair, but really that doesn't look bad. It's this cool green uplight. You know, it actually looks nice.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm not mad about it. So it's this really nice green uplight. So we're starting to kind of get some of those greens and blues in there that feel a little like, again, some of those kind of serpentine colors. But let's bring in a main light onto Kate's face to start to just give some more definition forward, help with a little bit more connection to the camera, or at least connection to the subject. So let's do that now. So far we have 3 lights. We have a backlight of blue, and we have 2 gelled green lights. This strip light here to kind of give some side highlight to her body because she's facing this way, so it's giving us a little bit of highlight here. And then this giving us a nice uplight, kind of like a spooky fill from the bottom. Any questions for anyone? Nope.
Yeah, okay.
Cool. It's pretty straightforward. There's not a whole lot we're dealing with here. So over here with this light, we have a B10X Plus. We are running it with a we have the OCF2 snoot, and we have the OCF2 gel holder, and we have 2 yellow gels inside of it. So just to kind of get some more saturation in there that way by just beefing up that yellow a little bit more. So all OCF stuff holding the gels except for the click stuff, which is all built in, which is nice. Oh, I'm dying.
There we go. I think this is a better idea so they can actually see that.
Okay, yeah, that works.
They can see the snoot now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at you. Look at you.
Snooty.
Snooty.
Okay.
Thinking on your feet. Okay.
Okay.
So here we go. 3, 2, 1. So now we have this cool yellow tone. Actually, I might pull it back a little bit. Here, let me pull it back just a hair. I think that's maybe a touch harsh. Let's just see what happens at 7, 3, 2, 1. I like that better, I think.
Yes. I
Yeah.
agree.
So we pulled it back. We pulled it back a little bit less than a stop. So now we have these really cool, again, serpenty colors that have this really fun feel to them. We have some uplight coming to kind of give it kind of that a little bit more of a sinister look, something a little more frightening. But it doesn't read too serpentine. So we're going to use a gobo to broadcast a pattern onto Kate, and that is going to act as the scales to make it start to feel a little bit more like that. So, and granted, we have 2 different gobos we could play with to see if we like one better than the other one, but we're going to try this one first and see what it's looking like. So you mind popping in place, Caitlin? So let's talk about, as Caitlin's jumping in place, let's talk about the things you should do with your gobo to get the best result possible. So, as far as placement of the gobo to your subject, you want it as close as possible. And so we're gonna bring this gobo in, and we're gonna get it as close to Kate as we can. I'm gonna go check my screen here in just a second, or on my camera, to see if I have, my little screen in the back. I don't, so I can actually get it in closer. The closer we get this to the subject, the sharper the lines are gonna be. And that's what we want. I'll show you the difference. We'll do one where we back it up a little bit and you can kind of see how it changes. But I think for this, we want the lines to be pretty dang sharp. Yeah, we're good there. And so the second thing, so I showed you that we are using a snoot and going through this thing. You might have asked in the original, why are you using a snoot? The snoot is actually going to make the light source a little bit smaller. As a matter of fact, I might even take this, move this sound baffle that I have here. I'm gonna actually scooch it back a little bit and make it, get it further away from the subject and make it even smaller than that. So these are little things that you can do to help. Does that look like it's pointed at you, Kate?
I can't tell. Yes. Yes.
Cool. So by backing up the snoot a little bit more, having that snoot in the first place that's a little bit smaller, it's going to give us sharper lines. So now let's see what we're looking like. Oh, after I kick my camera, could you go this way just a hair? There we go. And then here we go. 3, 2, 1. Very cool. So now this gobo has given us this effect to where it looks like she has these scales. So again, it starts to play more into that look of it being more of a serpentine feel to the image. And another thing that this is doing now, so if we look here, hold on a second, let's go to this image here. Oh, nope, I'm on the wrong window. I think I'm messing everything up. Yep, I was. So if we go here, the yellow is blasting at Kate, and it's doing a good job of doing exactly what it's supposed to do, which is fill in that light from the side that we weren't getting so you can see her face. But by adding in the gobo, what we were able to do not only is broadcast the pattern onto her face, but if you look here, the shadows of the gobo are green now. So we have these nice green shadows. So we've now taken that idea of like that scaly feel, and we've added that into the shadows themselves on the light the pattern that's been broadcast on Kate. So it feels even more scaly, which is kind of cool. So something that I think is pretty neat. The one thing I might goof around with, and I might try, let's just try it. I'm gonna move this light over just a hair and see if I can get a little bit more of that green light over here, just to kind of maybe fill in those shadows a little bit more. Let's just see what happens. Can never hurt just to mess around with it a little bit. So here we go. I might have to pull that light back a little bit because I think the power is probably going to be pretty juicy. Let's come back about a stop. 3, 2, 1. Let's see what we think compared to the one before. So the only downside to this is we start to lose kind of that definition over here on this arm that I like, that uplight over here. And I don't know that we gained that much more green.
You need more green.
Yeah, I don't know that we gained that much more green into the actual, over here into the shadows. So I would probably bring that back around just to, let's bring that back. And then let's, for funsies, I'm just gonna lift this up a hair. Ooh, I'm definitely battling a tiny cold, which is super fun. I feel overly nasally, so we'll work through it though. We're doing good. Here we go. Let's try this one. 3, 2, 1. That's cool. Let's start to bring that green back in. Maybe kind of splitting the difference between the two. I would probably bring the power. Yeah, so it's starting to open that, bring that light back onto that arm there. Yeah, that looks nice. I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to power up just a little bit and introduce some more of that into the shot and see what we think about that. Let's go full stop up. Let's go to 7. See what happens. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I think that's good. That's nice.
There it is. There's
So
green.
let's talk about what happens when you start to vary the distance from your subject and the gobo. So we're gonna leave the light in the same place, but we're gonna have Kate come back in and we're going to start backing this thing up. So let's actually take the gobo halfway between Kate and the background, or Kate and the light. Mm-hmm. Let's have you jump in here.
Sure.
So 3, 2, 1. Cool. So you start to lose a lot of the effect of the gobo. So you can see we still have some shadow patterns like here on the arm and stuff. Some going across the chest a little bit, and
It's more like anomalies, like not
yeah.
really.
Or yeah, I mean, but the cool thing is you can play with that. So say that doesn't really look like much, but we don't want it as sharp. You can just push it in a little bit. So let's go like there. And remember, when we were taking the shots of Kate originally that we showed, the screen was just out of frame. This we have a little bit more distance on. So nose back to me just a hair. 3, 2, 1. So there you can start to see that the shadows are coming back in, but they're still a lot softer. So like if we go, let's do this right here. Let's go full screen too. So there you can kind of see the difference between using that gobo really, really close to your subject or backing it up a little bit. So the cool thing is you can play with that. So I would almost, if I was trying to give something the look and feel of maybe photographing next to a body of water or something like that with maybe the light hitting the water and reflecting back up, I could use that same gobo and pull it back even just a hair more, and it's going to have a lot more of that look and feel to it than the sharper images of what we have for the shot where, again, we're trying to make it feel more like serpentine, a little more scaly. So the cool thing is you can get a lot of different looks out of just playing with the distance of the gobo to your subject. I just want to, for funsies, I want to try a different pattern.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because it almost leaves like a flower. I was thinking the angles of this would be right, but.
So. Oh, you okay?
Yeah, I got it.
It's a little pokey, so.
Go.
Cool. So we're just going to try a different pattern. Again, these aren't very expensive at your local hardware store. So.
You could also make them yourself.
You can make them yourself.
Out of foam.
Make them out of foam, cardboard.
Yeah. Actually, I can show you.
Poster board. Oh, you know what might actually be cool too? We were talking about this earlier, but it might be cool for me to throw like a little aerosol in and make it and kind of we'll do that here in just a second. I'll go behind the background and grab it.
I mean, just gonna say, I mean, like.
But you can see we made a pretty rudimentary gobo with some.
You can't even really see it, but
you go in closer.
We poked in holes with, you know, something.
Yeah.
It gave a kind of starry effect, which is kind of cool.
So we'll try another thing. Let me go grab this little atmosphere in a can stuff back here.
If you have any questions, please pop them in and we'd love to see.
Yep. It's not a. It's the cool thing is the concepts here are not overly difficult.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Restream is just not populating.
No, it's a pretty it's pretty straightforward thing.
Eyeballs.
Yep.
I see ya.
Cool. So we got some aerosol, some atmosphere in a can. We'll crack open here in just a second, as soon as I don't blow it up all over myself.
Just in case.
And then let's throw the screen up.
You'd like to contact Chris. This is his handle.
Cool.
I'll bet it for you guys.
So let's get this in here. And so again, for that scaly look, I'm going to want to make sure that this is in as close as possible. So now that I've got her in place, I can push this in and make sure it's just out of frame. Again, the closer the pattern is to the subject, the sharper that pattern is going to be. I think that'll be pretty good. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's see. What do we think there? Yeah, that reads a little more scaly, I think. Less flowery. I would go nose to the light just a hair. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I think that's.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, very cool. And so what we're going to do now is I'm just going to hit it with a little atmosphere in a can. And what that's going to do is going to produce some light beams, which should be kind of cool. I'm gonna puff it first, and then I'll have you step in, Kate.
Okay. This stuff is safeties in studio.
Yes, come on.
Oh, wait, sorry. Woo, woo.
3, 2. Oh, hold on. 3, 2, 1. See if we get any rays through there. It definitely dropped the contrast, which is what it can do. Let's try one more time. I'm gonna shoot it over here. Cool. 3, 2, 1. Maybe we're low key enough that it's actually not popping through too much. It may almost be one of those things where I have to fire it before. But I will say, yeah, the atmosphere didn't really add anything. But I will say that I really do like the pattern from that gobo more than I liked the original kind of like, I guess it's just diamond shapes, or triangle shapes.
Yeah, triangles and diamonds.
Whereas this is more of a, I don't even really know. It's more of like a crisscross, but it's rounded. It's got a radius on it. So, but again, really, really easy stuff.
Open up the door real quick.
Oh yeah. Get rid of some of the atmosphere. So again, it's a really easy concept. When we're talking about gels, again, one of the best things you can do is remember that there's a couple things actually to remember about gels. One, gels consume quite a bit of power. So make sure you're paying attention to your settings. Here we have to we have to close down quite a bit to try to overpower the lights. And even then we didn't totally overcome them. We'll probably wind up taking the final image here in just a second with the lights turned all the way off. But your gels are gonna consume power on your flash. So make sure you're paying attention to that. And two, the more light you push through a gel, the more kind of like, the less the color effect is gonna be. So you generally wanna try to pull the power back if you wanna really saturate the colors of a gel versus, jamming a whole bunch of light through it to try to make, a really proper exposure on your subject. So that's the first thing on gels. For gobos, again, you want to, one, make the light source going through your gobo as small as possible. The harder the light source is, the easier it's going to be to broadcast that pattern on there. And then you're going to want to get your gobo as close to the subject as possible. If you want sharp lines, the closer it is to the subject, the sharper those lines are going to be, and they start to soften up as you pull it away from your subject. So some things to keep in mind with your gobos there. One of the other cool things you can do with gobos that we did here is the light being broadcast from underneath, or a secondary light source, is going to fill those shadows in with a color that are being broadcast by the gobo. So we have this nice yellow light coming through the gobo, making the scale look on Kate. And then the green light from underneath is hitting all those shadows and turning those green to kind of really play up that look. So something really cool to think about, the color that you're going to broadcast into the shadows of your gobo. So using these things is really fun. It's not hard to, especially with the gobos, the barrier to entry is tiny. I think these things might be 10 or 15 bucks at your local hardware store. The closest one to me is a Home Depot, so that's just the easiest one to get it from. But I know that they're at all of them. So again, just like a metal board, or you can make it yourself out of cardboard, cut whatever pattern you want into it, and just have fun with it. I don't think we really have much else today, kind of diving back into this. So, but we do appreciate, if you do, I know Caitlin flashed my IG handle up there. If y'all have any questions about anything, if you want to talk about anything, if you have any concerns or just anything that you want to talk about with your lighting in general, hit me up. I'm at @TheChrisFain on Instagram. It's the easiest way to talk to me. I'm actually at @TheChrisFain everywhere. So I'm like on X and all the other stuff. So hit me up. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have an awesome rest of your week. This was super fun. But again, if you need anything, let me know. Peace out, everybody.